I pretend to listen, mulling over the details from last night's crime scene. What kind of mind would create such horror? Today on the Comic Book Report, Batman, the Man Who Laughs by Ed Brubaker. Stick around and check it out. Greetings from Gotham, everyone. My name is Dominic, and you're watching The Comic Book Report, where we review comic books and graphic novels so you can get an idea of what to read. As I mentioned at the top, today we're going to be reviewing Batman, the Man Who Laughs, the trade paperback collection. But before we begin, here are a couple quick facts. Batman, the Man Who Laughs, the trade paperback, includes two separate stories, both written by Ed Brubaker. The first is the titular Batman, the Man Who Laughs, which was written in 2005 and penciled by Doug Mahnke. The other is the Made of Wood storyline, which was part of Detective Comics issues 784 through 786, which was penciled by Patrick Zitscher. These issues were published in 2003, and this trade paperback comes in at 144 pages. At this time, I'd like to issue a general spoiler warning. I will be flipping through the contents of today's collection, as well as commenting on plot points throughout the way. You've been warned. And there is today's collection itself, Batman, the Man Who Laughs. And as you can see, we have a nice twisted Joker cover. And you know, it really says everything you need to know about the Joker in one image, doesn't it? Next, we can go ahead and get a look at the spine. Like I said, this is a thinner volume, standard size. Nothing crazy, but, you know, well put together. And then along the back, of course, we have another picture of the Joker tipping his hat. It includes a description of the book, the contents, a little bit about the creators, pricing, things like that. All pretty standard. Alright, and then opening the collection proper, you know, we have a title page, we have a little bit of a table of contents, some front matter, which is all great to see. And then it launches right into our first storyline, which of course is the Batman, the Man Who Laughs. Right from the get-go, for those that don't know what this collection is about, the Batman, the Man Who Laughs is kind of a reimagining of Joker's first appearance within the Batman mythos. And it's set around the time of Batman Year One. We have a very uneasy Gordon, kind of having a working relationship with the Batman, but it's all very tentative and new. And we have Batman himself, who is not up to his prime, amazing Batman self. He's still newer to the role, and learning what it means to be a detective and to figure these things out. And in comes the Joker, a criminal the likes of which Gotham City has never seen. Throughout this roughly 70-page story, we have the Joker threatening to murder specific key citizens of Gotham City at a specific time. And in spite of GCPD's and Batman's best effort, the Joker follows through on a lot of these murder attempts, which kills the victims by having them laugh, get a rictus grin, and ultimately wither and die. It's all pretty gruesome by design, and Doug Mahnke's pencils bring it out to perfection. I think something that stands out about this story for me is just the psychological toll of encountering something like the Joker for the first time. I definitely won't spoil it all for you, but trust me, Batman the Man Who Laughs is a story worthwhile to read for fans of the Joker, Batman, or his larger mythos in general. Brubaker comes in with a strong internal monologue and a great crime writing. It's not to be missed. Next up in the collection, we have Made of Wood, which comes from the pages of Detective Comics. And why the inclusion of Made of Wood in this collection is so fun is that it's titled Batman the Man Who Laughs. So this whole second half of the trade paperback almost feels like this awesome bonus feature. Made of Wood collects roughly 3 issues of Detective Comics, bringing this story as well to about 60-70 pages, rounding out this collection. Made of Wood follows the more modern era Batman with a retired Commissioner Gordon and the Golden Age Green Lantern Alan Scott. The story surrounds a sequence of serial murders wherein homeless vagrants or people are found at the base of the Green Lantern statue with a carving in their chest that says Made of Wood. Most troubling about these string of murders is that they are identical to murders that occurred decades earlier in the golden age of superheroes. And more troubling still, Wood being the only weakness to the Golden Age Green Lantern, Alan Scott. The murders seem targeted around that character himself. The narrative is primarily split between Batman and Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, as they team up to discover the truth about what happened all those years ago and how that can help them solve the murders that are happening today that must be linked. Simultaneously, we have the now retired Commissioner Gordon, unable to leave this alone himself, who's also investigating a separate trail of evidence, trying to find the truth. The ins and outs of this specific mystery I'll leave up to you as you read this collection yourself. But suffice it to say, it is a fun detective crime thriller with a thin veneer of superheroics veiled on top. And for me, it was a delight to read this little side adventure that had the Dark Knight detective doing what he does best, in the company of one of his heroes, the Golden Age Green Lantern. And to my surprise, I think Made of Wood is actually the story in this collection I prefer the most. The Man Who Laughs is excellent, but Made of Wood really punches out as an unexpected gem in the Batman world. And if you've never read Brubaker, he is excellent at crime fiction, and you see that here through the pages of Batman the Man Who Laughs. And now, I think it's about time we give this collection a grade. For these incredible standalone stories, both of which treat readers to excellent crime drama, great internal monologues, and beautiful penciling, The Comic Book Report gives Batman, the Man Who Laughs, a B. While I do consider these stories above average, they're not quite to that classic, iconic Batman strength to me. However, they're an easy recommendation for any Batman fan out there who wants to read stories they maybe haven't picked up, particularly if they're fans of the Joker or when Batman is really exercising some of his detective skills. I would also confidently recommend this to any Ed Brubaker fan out there. While it doesn't have some of the gritty crime details that you'll find in some of his independent work, it's still surprising within the pages of conventional DC comics. If you're a fan, don't sleep on Batman, the Man Who Laughs. And that's going to do it today for the Comic Book Report. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel or check out some of my other recent videos. Have a good one.